Hello, today I'm going to go over how to get the antivirus program Avast and how to install it and run it. It's pretty easy, it's free. The only thing is you do have to register. It doesn't cost anything, you just have to give them your name and email address, and it doesn't even have to be a valid one. But I would suggest a valid one just so they don't yell at me. First thing you do is you go to Avast.com, avast.com. It'll take you to this page and it'll have a download for free antivirus. You hit there. It'll come up and give you some options to choose from. These two, the middle and the one on the right, are pay. They do offer more options, but you really don't need them for most things anyway. If you're constantly at risk, if you're constantly getting stupid stuff on your computer, you might want to consider a pay version, but I wouldn't really. So once you decided on the free, you just click on the download. It'll come and say, hey, do you want to do more? No, you don't. You just want the free one. It'll take you to download.com. You click the download button, it'll pop up. You save it. I've already did this a couple times, so I'm going to cancel that. And we're just going to run the one that I downloaded this morning. Hopefully. And it'll come up and give you a few options. I almost always do the custom install, whether I'm doing a typical install or not, just because I don't know why, I just always do. So you'll notice the custom here. I'll ask you where you want to put it. Your C drive is almost always fine. And then it'll give you three options, three tabs on the left here: minimal, typical, and custom. Most of the time you'll just want to go ahead and do the typical. I do the custom, and I get rid of this junk. I don't want the browser protection, I don't want the gadget, and I don't want the remote assistance. And make sure English is selected. I believe it should be by default, but if you want to do it in a different language, you can. I wouldn't suggest it. Just use your native language. Under real time, the ones I really worry about are the file shield, the network shield. All the other ones, I really don't know what they do. The web shield basically checks your, as your browser. The same with the mail, PDP, IM shield. Probably script shield too. But for the average person, I just leave them all checked. Might as well. They really don't take up any additional space, so might as well have them. Just hit next, and it'll tell you what you're installing. Since I already have mine installed, I'm going to hit cancel here. Yes, but you'll want to continue to hit next all the way through. It'll tell you need to reboot. Go ahead and reboot, and that'll put the services in memory. And it should run an update automatically. If it doesn't, I'll show you how to do that. But after you reboot, you'll have this little A down in your system tray. It might be down here, but mine's in this thing here. You just double click on that, and that's your Avast. Now, like I said, it will ask you to register. I don't know at which point it'll ask you to register, but it'll ask for your name, first, last name, and your email address. I usually give my first name, last initial, and my email address. I haven't gotten spam from them yet. I think I've gotten 2 emails from them in 2 years, and I think they were fairly relevant, trying to sell me something. And then the one was to tell me mine was expiring. So no big deal. That gets you good to use the free for a year. Yeah, that's it. If it doesn't ask you automatically, when you open it up, there'll be something here that says expiration date, and there'll be something in red you can click on to register. After you do the register, you don't have to open up in your email. You don't have to click a link to say, hey, I want to register. It's just done. If it didn't automatically update your definitions, there will be a red thing here you can click on to update them, and the same thing for your program version. And you should have your real-time shields on and auto definition updates on. If they're not, I do believe there's also something right here you can click on to enable them. If not, I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Over here on the left, there'll be a scan computer. Normally, once you're installed, you do not have to do a full scan, but if you're really paranoid and something's and you think you might have something, you can go ahead and do a full system scan, and it'll scan whatever drives you have on your computer. I don't want to do that right now because it's going to take a while even on my system. The quick scan, it tells you right here, scan system drive, rootkits, auto start programs, nothing too in depth, scans your memory, whatever's running pretty much. That's the big thing that's important, because you can have a virus sitting somewhere in your Windows program folder, and it could be fine as long as it's not activated, as long as it's not running. It could sit there for years and not do anything until somebody clicks on it, or something opens it up. What you're really concerned with is what's running at that given moment, especially if you're having an issue. So you just run the quick scan. Relatively speaking, it doesn't take very long compared to the full system scan. On my computer, it takes anywhere between 2 and 10 minutes, depending on what my computer is doing. I'd say on average it probably takes between 10 minutes to a half an hour. But once you run it, make sure nothing's running on your system that's a virus or what have you, then you should be okay. Should being the key word. If the real-time protection is running, anything that does try to open up, like in my previous example, something sitting in the Windows folder, once that virus runs, the real-time protection should find it and stop it in its tracks. That's the hope, anyway. Okay, and we'll just go ahead and let that run, and I'll go over here to the boot time scan. This is if you're having major problems, you get a virus or malware that shuts off your antivirus. If the real-time protection won't run, if you can't do a scan now and it just says, oh, I can't do this, you can try coming in the boot time scan, hit the schedule now button, and then hit the restart. What that'll do is whenever your computer comes on, it'll come up with like in a safe mode and run a virus scan before anything starts running. No auto start programs. The last time I ran this was a long time ago, but I believe it gave me basically a DOS type box, and it just scanned files from DOS. I think they probably updated it since then, because I think that was Windows XP. For Windows 7, and it just basically gives you like the blue screen, like the light blue black background, and it gives you a scan that looks probably similar to this. I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't had the need. And hopefully you won't neither. And it gives you the logs here of when it's scanning. When you do a full scan, system scan, you can select a specific folder, and that was here under the scan now. Like say, for example, someone says, hey, I got all this music, would you like to have a copy of it, and you download it, but you're not sure if you trust that person, you can come into here, select the folder, click start, select the folder, we'll select my RAM disk right here, and then hit OK, and it'll scan, well, that was quick, it'll scan that folder for any sorts of viruses or malware. It's nice. I've done that a few times because there's a few people I don't trust to give me stuff. It's not that I don't trust them, I just don't trust their computing skills to check it themselves. Real-time shields, this tells you which shields you've installed at the beginning. Remember those checkboxes that were over on the left there? When I installed, I only installed the file system, the network, and the behavior shield. I didn't install the web, the P2P, the IAM, and whatever the other ones were. because I don't use those types of programs enough to warrant it. I mean, if it's trying to do something on my system, one of these should pick it up. Now, for you, for the average person anyway, I would suggest go ahead and getting these. It doesn't take up much more RAM or system resources or hard drive space, so you might as well. I just know I will very rarely use them, so I don't have them. And then if you click on over here where the file system network, it tells you what it's scanning, how much it's scanning. Pretty simple. Just to let you know it's working pretty much. Additional protection, sandbox and site blocking, I do not believe they're completely supported in the free version. Leaving it at default settings is probably okay. The maintenance, this is where it'll take you if it doesn't automatically update. You just come in here, hit the update engine, it'll check for updates, and if there are any, it'll install them for you. And apparently there was an update in the past 20 minutes. Yep, there it, see, right there. It looks like it's the second update of the day as well. Registration, this is where you check to make sure your license is here. Virus chest, oh, okay. Apparently Champions Online, it's a free-to-play online game, apparently had a virus or is coming up as a false positive. I deleted it and installed it another way because I didn't trust it, but apparently it's still there. But this is where, when you have a virus, this is where it'll list it, and then you can come in here, you can right click, restore it, rescan it with the new updated files, or delete it. You delete it, it's gone. Easy as that. Support, if you're having problems, general questions. Community forum is fairly good. You just click on the visit forum, and it brought it up over here. And if you have a specific question, you can just type it in there and hit search. Really not much to it. Remote assistance, if you have a problem, I generally don't suggest installing it, but if you do install it and you have a problem, you can have a buddy come in and take a look at it for you. I can see where it'd be handy, but really it's easier just to do it at your desk. You can share it on Facebook, and it gives you the about here. And you can see it's just about done scanning here. While that finishes up, I'll show you one of the settings that I change usually pretty quick. Now when Avast updates, it updates, I don't know how often, but I know at least once a day automatically. So it's good and it's bad at the same time. It's good that it updates, but it's bad because it's annoying as hell. It comes up down here in the bottom right and says, hey, Avast has been updated successfully. Which is great to know, but I don't want to know. I don't want to, I know it's updating, so I don't want to see it. So what you could do is you come into the settings here, click on silent gaming mode, and check that box, and then just hit OK. Now it'll just do the updating in the background, and it won't tell you anything, it'll just do it. With that enabled though, you do want to come into here and make sure it has been enabled, and we'll get to that in just a moment. And you can see my scan finished. It says no threats found. It tells you how long it took, 7 minutes. It scanned 50,000 files and 47,000 folders and almost 21 gigabytes of files. And that was just the quick scan. So that's actually pretty quick. I expect it to take longer. We'll just go with it. But if you do that silent gaming mode, make sure it gets updated by going into here in summary. Make sure this says on, and the virus definition version. As you can see here, it's got like a little code, and looks like the first 2 digits of the year, second 2 of the month, and the third set is the day. You see 2012, September 26th, and then the dash number, in this case 1, is the revision version. I was using dash 0, which was the first one released today, and then now I'm on dash 1, which is the second one released today. I don't know if that's true, but it makes sense, so I'm going with it. But if it doesn't, if these are say off, you want to make sure you turn them on, and then go into maintenance, update, and then hit that again. Like I said, we just did it, so we don't need to worry about it, but I already clicked it, so I'm an idiot. And then it'll update to the current version. It'll tell you if you're already up to date, it'll say already up to date. Done. It's pretty easy. It's out of the way, especially once you check that box that says silent gaming. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Updates. You want to come in here and make sure this is always selected to automatic update. For program, by default it's ask. You could set it to automatic, but I prefer ask, so that way I know it's going to install something. You probably don't want to set it to manual, otherwise you'll never know when there's an update unless you go look yourself. So I would leave it at ask. There was another one I wanted to show. I think might have been the appearance here. By default, it puts a down here in the system tray. After a while, it'll get hidden in the box here for Windows 7 anyway. But if you're using Windows XP, for example, and you don't want it to be down there, you just uncheck that box and hit OK, and then it'll take it out of the system tray. If you're using Windows 7, I would just leave it checked. It's just a faster way to get to it, rather than going to the start menu or on your desktop. And that's really that's really it. It is a really nice program. It's pretty lightweight. It's, in my opinion, it's tons better than Norton and McAfee, because they're pretty much just bloatware. Yeah, they work. Yeah, if something goes wrong, you can call them and be like, yeah, it broke. Help me out. But really, if it gets to that point anyway, you're probably going to end up restoring or using System Restore or the Factory Restore, or just reinstalling Windows anyway. But with the Avast, it's lightweight, no bloatware. It's really hard to say anything bad about it. There is another program out there called AVG. It works really good too. It's my second option if Avast fails me, which Avast never has. The thing I don't like about AVG though is every now and then it does pick up a false positive. That really annoys me. But other than that, it works just fine. Pretty much exactly the same. You just got to find the settings in different places. So either one is good. I just stick with Avast because that's what I like. That's pretty much about it. Again, not too much, anything special. So, if this helped you out at all, go ahead and hit like, comment if you have questions, and I'll see if I can get back to you. Alright, have a good one.